Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, I think the little time that is apportioned to me to speak here, Mr. President, I will request your kind permission to stand by all protocols so that I'll be able to welcome the august guests that are here. Because our governors are here, the ministers are here, our traditional royal fathers are here, the captains of industries are here. So it will be so hard to use the minimum time I have to acknowledge every one of you here. Mr. President, thank you. I don't think there is anything that I will say other than to say, let me use the largest pyramid of rice in the world that has never seen until in Nigeria and during your time, Mr. President. So I use the pyramid to welcome all of you here. Mr. President, you can see your handwork. It's a statement you made during your campaign, and it is fulfilled because we emphasized during your campaign that you pay more attention on agriculture, and it happens. And there is no surprise at all, because everybody that knows you that if you say yes, it will remain that yes until the end of time. Mr. President, you have promised Nigerians that you will expand the scope of agriculture if you are elected. And you are elected and you fulfill the promise. What you see here, Mr. President, is a trickle of what we produced in the last wet season. 0.005% that was cultivated this wet season that is here. 99.9 is already in the production areas. And after the central bank takes over of this paddy and sell it to the millers at a subsidized rate as they used to do, the remaining ones, the governor of central bank will go around Nigeria to commission the sales of paddy, God willing. Mr. President, there is no adjective that is strong enough to thank you for what you have done to this country. It's only God that can thank you enough. You have come when you needed most to come and lead this country. God knows why He brought you that time. And Nigerians will continue to appreciate your presence as the president of this country to the end of time. You have saved a lot. Those that knew what I'm saying, they knew that you have saved this country, you have worked for this country, you have put this country on track. I don't think there's any president that to take over from you and neglect the national security, which is the food security, because we consider food security to be the national security. And you have paid very much attention on that. Mr. President, we thank you. There is not enough time for me. Mr. President, I want to extend our sincere request to you that there are critical stakeholders that made this event and also support the production of food in Nigeria. Mr. President, we request, with all respect, that those people should be acknowledged and appreciated. We have our smallholder farmers that became committed after the launch of Anchor Borrower Program in 2015 in Birnin Kebbi, the rice state. They became committed and they said, we voted you and they will support you. And they will carry out your instruction that we should go back to farm. Mr. President, those smallholder farmers, today, despite all the challenges, despite all the insecurity, the banditry, the flood, the kidnap, the drought, they became committed, and that is why you can see all these pyramids here. Mr. President, some of those farmers has gone. We are only interacting with their children. Some of them are in the hospital, but they keep on going to the farm to produce for Nigeria to eat. Mr. President, those farmers deserve appreciation. Mr. President, the association also that became committed, that work hand in hand with the Central Bank of Nigeria to make sure that we carried out your instruction that we must produce what we eat. The association deserves commendation. Mr. President, there are committees that we constituted, and they came up with what you can see here in collaboration with the Central Bank of Nigeria and the presidency. Mr. President, they deserve commendation. After that, Mr. President, there are governors that key on to your clarion call. Those governors, today they will be awarded by you, Mr. President, because they have abided by the call you made and they contributed a lot. Those governors are the governor of Ebonyi State for his serious commitment and passion and the love of his country and his people, that said, if you see any foreign rice in the market in his state, that rice seller, as long as it is imported, will not be seen again. That helps us a lot to make our farmers to go back to farm. Mr. President, we have the governor of Cross River who tirelessly digitalized the agricultural sector of this country. Mr. President, that governor is here this morning to receive an award from you. We have also the governor of Ekiti State, who has been with us for a very long time, whom last year by this time, we inaugurated pyramid display in his state because of his commitment and passion in agriculture. Mr. President, we also have IG of Nigeria, Nigerian Police. We have DSS, we have Civil Defense, we have Fire Service, we have Immigration, we have Customs that supported us immensely. They need commendation, Your Excellency. Mr. Excellency, we have 3 governors. Two are governors of states, and the one is the governor of Apex Bank. Mr. President, these 3 key and critical stakeholders of what you can see here are the governor of Kebbi State and the governor of Jigawa State, and also the governor, as they call him, or we call him, the governor of governors, the governor of money, the governor of Central Bank, Mr. Godwin Emefiele. Mr. President, there are commodity associations. We have 74 agricultural commodities in the country They all team up with us to make this event a reality. Those agricultural commodities deserve commendation, Mr. President. Mr. President, I want to briefly inform everyone of us that is here that at the beginning of every cropping season, Central Bank finance a lot of farmers in different commodities. But in rice, which is my sector, I knew that if they finance 500,000 by the cropping season, attached to every hectare, Mr. President, there is somebody who will supply seed. There is another person who will supply water pump. There is another person who will supply fertilizer. There is another person who will supply herbicide. There is another person who will supply knapsack sprayer. There is another person who will supply planting. There is another person who will supply plowing. There is another person who will supply land preparation. There is another person who will supply empty bags. There is another person who will supply harvesting. There is another person who will supply threshing. There is another person who will supply aggregation. There is another person who will supply transportation. Your Excellency, if you put this number together and attach it on a hectare, it means by the time the central bank finances 1 hectare, 13 gainfully people will be engaged to that one single farmer, making it 14 times 500, which becomes close to 3 million every cropping season. And we have done this over 6 years. Mr. President, you can see that in rice alone, every cropping season, about 5 million people under the rice alone have been engaged. Apart from maize, sorghum, onion, garlic, tomato, and what we have. Mr. President, we thank you for this support, and we want to sincerely request Your Excellency to extend our sincere appreciation to the Central Bank Governor, who, before your time, Mr. President, the smallholder farmer can't have access to ordinary financial houses that we used to have. But today, that smallholder farmer have access to Central Bank, in fact, rubbing shoulder to shoulder with the Central Bank Governor. Mr. President, we thank you for this effort. Mr. President, we also request Your Excellency, to express our sincere appreciation to the Governor of Kebbi, who every now and then working with us in our farms, in our offices, in our states, virtually in everything, apart from so many contributions that he has been given to this novel program. We thank you, Mr. President. What we cultivated during the last wet season, Mr. President, is millions of hectares. Millions of hectares. In Gombe alone, we cultivated more than 100,000 hectares. In Taraba, we cultivated more than 50,000 hectares. In Kebbi, the rice house, the rice home, we had 2 cropping seasons, and in each cropping season, we were supported with minimum of 70,000 farmers, Mr. President. We want you to sincerely extend our sincere appreciation to the CBN Governor, who made it possible for us, who has listening ears, who supported us in a quantum that we can't even quantify. Thank you, Mr. President. I hope and I pray God will make this event successful and take everybody back home safely. Thank you for coming.